Commander Zorvac stepped out of the shuttle onto the landing pad of West Point Academy. The air smelled strange, wet grass, metal, and something sweet like cooked food. His 4 eyes blinked against the bright Earth sun. He was tall, thin, with smooth gray skin and a uniform covered in small shining metals. As the leader of a Krellian battle fleet, he had seen many strange things in the galaxy, but nothing had prepared him for humans. The diplomatic exchange program said this visit would last 1 full Earth month. Zorvac would watch how humans trained their young soldiers. The Krellian High Command wanted to know if these soft-skinned creatures were a real threat or just loud noise. Zorvac thought it would be simple. He would observe, take notes, and write a short, clean report. Easy work. 2 young humans waited for him at the edge of the pad. They wore green uniforms with many pockets. Both were wet and covered in thick brown mud from head to feet. One was male, the other female. They stood straight, but their faces showed big smiles. "Welcome to West Point, sir," the male said loudly. "I'm Cadet John Miller. This is Cadet Lisa Thompson. We are your guides for today." Zorvac's translator hummed in his ear. The words came clear, but the tone felt wrong. Too happy, too loud. He looked down at them. "You are dirty," he said slowly. John laughed, a short, sharp sound. "Yeah, we just finished the obstacle course. Got a little wet and muddy. No big deal." Lisa nodded. "It's good training, builds character, and it's fun." Fun. Zorvac stored the word in his mind. Krellians did not train for fun. They trained to survive. Pain was expected. Joy was not part of the plan. He followed them across the wide grass field. Buildings stood in neat rows, gray stone, tall windows, flags moving in the wind. Cadets marched in groups everywhere. Some ran. Some carried heavy bags on their backs. All shouted words Zorvac did not understand at first. His translator caught pieces. "Move it, maggots. One more lap. Don't quit now. Come on, you can do it." Zorvac stopped walking. "Why do they call each other maggots? That is an insult." John turned. "Nah, it's just how Drill Sergeant Hayes talks. It's his way of saying he cares." "Cares," Zorvac repeated. The word felt wrong in his mouth. Lisa pointed ahead. "That's the main quad, where we do most of our morning stuff. Want to see the physical training?" Zorvac nodded once. He wanted data, facts, not jokes. They walked to a large open area. About 50 cadets stood in lines. A short, wide human male with a loud voice walked in front of them. His hat sat low on his head. His shirt sleeves were rolled up. He carried no weapon, but his presence made the cadets stand even straighter. "Listen up," the man shouted. "Today we do PT. You will sweat, you will hurt, and you will thank me for it." The cadets answered together, "Yes, Drill Sergeant." Zorvac watched. The short man, Drill Sergeant Ryan Hayes, started giving orders. Push-ups, sit-ups, running in place, jumping. Every few minutes he added strange things. "Now drop and give me 20 while singing." The cadets dropped to the ground. They pushed their bodies up and down. At the same time, they sang. The song had no logic, Zorvac could see. "I don't know, but I've been told. Earth's cadets are brave and bold. Sound off. 1, 2. Sound off. 3, 4. Zorvac felt his head tilt. "They sing during punishment?" John grinned. "It's not punishment. It's motivation." Lisa added, "Makes it less boring. And we go faster when we sing." Zorvac opened his small datapad. He typed slowly with his long fingers. Observation 1. Humans use music and loud words to increase effort. Strange. Drill Sergeant Hayes saw the group and marched over. He stopped in front of Zorvac and saluted sharply. "Commander Zorvac, sir. Welcome to West Point. Name's Hayes. These two cadets are yours for the day. Zorvak returned a slow salute, Krelian style. Fingers to chest, then out. I am here to observe your methods. Hayes smiled wide. Observe all you want, sir. Just don't get in the way when we run the confidence course later. Things get messy. Messy, Zorvak said. He did not like that word. Hayes turned back to his cadets. All right, worms, on your feet. Time for the mud pit. The cadets cheered. Actually cheered. They ran toward a large hole filled with water and mud. One by one they jumped in, crawled under ropes, climbed walls, and came out even dirtier than before. Zorvak watched a tall cadet, Kevin something, slip and fall face first into the mud. The others laughed. Kevin stood up, wiped his face, and shouted, "That's how you do it." Lisa leaned close to Zorvak. See? Team spirit. Zorvak's translators struggled again. Team spirit involves falling in dirt? John answered. Sometimes. Builds trust. If you can laugh when you're covered in mud with your friends, you will break when things get bad. Zorvak wrote again. Observation 2. Humans find strength in shared discomfort and laughter. Illogical. Yet group stays together. After the mud pit, the cadets lined up again. Drill Sergeant Hayes walked past each one, checking their faces and uniforms. He stopped at a female cadet with short brown hair. Thompson, your boots are filthy. Explain. Lisa stepped forward. Sir, the mud pit got me, sir. Hayes stared at her. Then he smiled, just a little. Good answer. Now clean them before chow. Dismissed. The cadets ran off in different directions, some to clean, some to eat, some just to rest on the grass and talk. Zorvak turned to John and Lisa. You do this every day? Pretty much, John said, except Sundays. Sundays we get a little rest, and football. Football, Zorvak said, another word to store. Lisa pointed to a building. Come on, we'll show you the mess hall. You can eat with us. The food is interesting. Zorvak followed. He did not feel hungry. He felt confused. These humans did not act like soldiers. They acted like children at play. But they moved fast. They obeyed fast. They smiled through pain. Inside the mess hall, long tables filled the room. Cadets sat in groups. They talked loud. They laughed loud. Trays held strange food, brown meat, green vegetables, white paste, red sauce. John handed Zorvak a tray. Try the meatloaf, it's not bad. Zorvak looked at the gray-brown block. This is food for warriors? Lisa laughed. It's food for hungry cadets. You'll need energy for tomorrow. Zorvak sat with them. He did not eat much. He watched. One table started a loud chant. Another table answered. Soon the whole room filled with voices. He wrote one more note. Observation 3. Humans turn meals into contests of volume and speed. Noise level exceeds safe limits. No one seems bothered. When the meal ended, John and Lisa walked Zorvak to his guest room, a small space with a bed, desk, and window. The sun was going down. Orange light came through the glass. Tomorrow we have classroom time, Lisa said. Tactics and history, then more physical stuff. John added, and maybe a surprise inspection, keeps us sharp. Zorvak nodded. I will observe. They left. He closed the door. Alone now, he sat at the desk and opened his report file. The title blinked on the screen. Preliminary Log, Human War Academy. He started typing. Day 1. Humans do not train like Krelians. They shout. They sing. They fall in mud and laugh. Their leader uses insults as praise. Their young treat pain as a game. This makes no sense. He stopped, looked out the window. In the distance, a group of cadets ran under lights. They carried logs over their heads. They sang again. Zorvak felt something strange in his chest. Not fear, not anger. Something smaller. curiosity. He added one last line to the log. They are not weak, they are different, and difference can be dangerous. He closed the file. Tomorrow would bring more data, more confusion, more of this strange human thing called fun. Zorvak lay on the too-soft bed. For the first time in many cycles, sleep came slowly. The next morning came early. A loud horn woke Zorvak at what the humans called 0500 hours. He rose from the bed, still not used to how soft it was. His body felt strange after one night on Earth. He dressed in his uniform quickly and stepped outside. John and Lisa waited for him again. This time they looked clean. Their boots shone, their hair was neat, but their eyes showed the same bright energy as yesterday. "Good morning, Commander," John said. "Ready for day 2? Zorvak nodded. "I am prepared to observe more of your methods." Lisa smiled. "First is morning PT, then breakfast. After that, classroom time. You will like the tactics class. It's where we learned how to think like warriors." Zorvak followed them to the same open field. The sun was just rising. The air felt cool. Drill Sergeant Hayes already stood there, arms crossed, watching his cadets form lines. "Form up," Hayes shouted. "Today we run 4 miles. Anyone falls behind gets extra laps." The cadets groaned, but they started running. Zorvak walked beside the group with John and Lisa. He noticed something odd. As they ran, they talked. Not quiet talk, loud talk. Jokes, complaints, laughs. One cadet in front yelled, "Hey Sarge, can we sing again?" Hayes did not smile. "Only if you sing louder than yesterday." So they sang, a new song this time. "I don't know, but I've been told, running sucks when it's cold. Sound off. 1, 2. Sound off. 3, 4. Zorvak's translator worked hard. The words made little sense, but the rhythm kept them moving. When one cadet slowed, the others shouted encouragement. "Come on, Mike. Don't let the aliens see you quit." The cadet named Mike picked up speed. He waved at Zorvak as he passed. Zorvak wrote in his mind, "Observation 4. Humans use public shame and public praise in equal measure. Both seem effective." After the run, they went to breakfast. The mess hall was louder than last night. Cadets piled food on trays. Zorvak took a small plate of eggs and bread. He sat with John, Lisa, and 2 other cadets, Kevin Brooks and Laura Evans. Kevin looked at Zorvak. "So, Commander, what do you think of our PT?" "It is noisy," Zorvak said. Laura laughed. "Wait till you see the classroom. That's where it gets really noisy." After breakfast, they walked to a large building with many windows. Inside, rows of desks faced a front screen. About 40 cadets sat down. Zorvak took a seat in the back, with John and Lisa. A woman walked in. She was tall, with short black hair and sharp eyes. She wore a green uniform with teacher marks on the shoulders. "Good morning, class," she said. "I'm Instructor Megan Carter. Today we study the Battle of Agincourt, year 1415, English against French. Pay attention." She turned on the screen. Pictures appeared. Old drawings of men in armor, horses, bows. Instructor Carter spoke clearly. The English had fewer men. They were tired, wet, hungry. The French had more soldiers and better armor. What did the English do? A cadet raised his hand. "They used longbows, ma'am." "Yes," Carter said, "but why did it work?" Another cadet spoke. "Because the ground was mud. French knights got stuck." Carter nodded. "Correct. Terrain matters. Now, open discussion. How would you change the battle if you were the French commander?" Hands went up fast. Cadets talked over each other. "I would wait for dry ground. I would use cannons earlier. I would charge at night." One cadet, Chris Ramirez, stood up. "Ma'am, I would pretend to run away, draw them out, then hit them from the sides." Carter smiled a little. "Interesting. Risky, but interesting." Zorvak listened. These ideas came fast. Some made sense, some sounded foolish. But no one feared saying a bad idea. They just kept talking. Then Kevin raised his hand. What if we did something really crazy, like send one guy out to dance and distract them, while the rest sneak around? The room laughed. Even Carter laughed. That, she said, is what we call a human solution. Sometimes, crazy wins. Zorvak typed quickly on his pad. Observation 5. Humans value wild ideas as much as safe ones. They test thoughts by speaking them aloud. No punishment for wrong answers. After the history part, Instructor Carter switched to modern tactics. She showed maps of fake battles. Small blue dots for one side, red for the other. Today we run a quick sim, she said. Blue team defends a hill. Red team attacks. Go. The cadets split into groups. Zorvak moved closer to listen. John's group wanted to dig in and wait. Kevin's group wanted to attack first. Laura said, why not both? Fake a retreat, then counterattack. Chris added, and use smoke. Lots of smoke. Blind them. They drew on paper. They pointed. They shouted. In 10 minutes, they had a plan that changed 3 times. Carter watched from the front. She did not stop them. She only asked questions. Why that move? What if it fails? How do you talk to each other in chaos? The cadets answered fast. They sounded sure, even when unsure. Zorvak felt strange. Krelian classrooms were quiet. Orders came from above. Discussion was rare. Here, discussion was everything. After class, they went outside again. This time to a small field with ropes, walls, and poles. Drill Sergeant Hayes waited. Time for the confidence course. Commander Zorvak, you may watch. Your choice. Zorvak looked at the tall wooden walls. I will observe. The cadets lined up. They had to climb, crawl, jump, swing. Some fell. Some got stuck. Every time someone struggled, others helped. They pushed from below. They pulled from above. They yelled jokes. You're almost there. Don't be a baby. If you fall, I'll catch you. Maybe. When Lisa reached the top of a high wall, she turned and shouted down to Zorvak. See? Easy. She jumped to the other side, landed hard, rolled, stood up smiling. Zorvak wrote, Observation 6. Failure is not hidden. It is shared. Help comes without asking. Later Hayes called for a special drill. Krelian style, he shouted. Commander, show us how your people move. Zorvak stepped forward. He felt proud. This was something he knew. He lined up 10 cadets. Move as one, he said. No sound, no words. Follow my hand signals only. They stepped forward together. Perfect timing. He turned his wrist. They turned left. He lowered his arm. They dropped to one knee. For a moment, it was silent and smooth. Krelian perfect. Then John whispered to Lisa, This is boring. Lisa giggled. Kevin coughed to hide a laugh. Hayes smiled wide. All right, Commander, now watch this. He clapped once. Cadets, same moves, but make it fun. The cadets did the same signals, but now they added flair. One spun before dropping. Another did a small jump. Another made funny faces at each other. Zorvak stared. They still moved together, still followed signals, but they smiled. They laughed quietly. When it ended, they cheered themselves. Hayes looked at Zorvak. See? We can do your way. We just don't like it quiet. Zorvak had no words at first. Then he said, You modified my drill. Improved it, Chris said with a grin. Zorvak added to his log. Observation 7. Humans take orders and twist them. They add joy where none was planned. Efficiency remains. Discipline changes shape. The day went on. More running, more classes, more small drills. By evening, Zorvak felt tired in a new way. Not from work, from watching, from trying to understand. At dinner, he sat with the cadets again. They talked about the day. They teased each other. They planned tomorrow's tricks. John looked at Zorvak. What do you think so far, Commander? Zorvak paused. Your ways are not like mine. They are loud. They are strange. But you do not break. You bend, and you keep going. Laura raised her cup of water. To bending, not breaking. They all cheered. Zorvak did not cheer, but he lifted his cup too. Just a little. That night, in his room, he opened the report file again. Day 2. Humans train the body hard. They train the mind harder. They argue. They laugh. They turn drills into games. Yet they obey. They improve. Their chaos hides order. He stopped typing, looked at the ceiling. He added one more line. I begin to see why the galaxy fears them. Not their weapons, their spirit. Sleep came easier this time, but dreams were full of mud, songs, and humans who never stopped smiling. The third day started with a different kind of energy. Zorvak woke to the same horn, but today the cadets moved faster. They whispered to each other in the halls. They carried small bags and extra water bottles. Something big was coming. John met him outside the guest room. Today is the big one, Commander. Full combat simulation, multi-team wargame. You are going to love it. Zorvak followed him to the main briefing room, a large hall with maps on the walls and a big screen in front. Instructor Megan Carter stood at the front. Drill Sergeant Ryan Hayes stood beside her. About 80 cadets filled the seats. Carter spoke first. Listen up. Today we run Exercise Thunderstrike. Mixed teams, humans versus a combined allied force. The Krellian commander will lead one side. His team uses standard doctrine, perfect lines, no surprises. Our cadets will form the opposing force. Rules are simple. Laser tags, safe hits count as kills. Respawn after 5 minutes at your base. Objective, capture the enemy flag and bring it home. Questions? A cadet raised a hand. Can we use tricks? Carter smiled. As long as no one gets hurt, yes. Zorvak felt a small pride. This was his element. Krellian training stressed formation, timing, and control. He would show them how war should be done. He was given a team of 20 cadets who volunteered to follow his orders. Kevin Brooks, Chris Ramirez, and a few others. They looked eager. Zorvak spoke to them in a low voice. We move as one unit. Stay in tight formation. Advance slow. Use cover. No talking unless I signal. Understood? They nodded. Yes, sir. The other human team, about 60 cadets, gathered on the far side of the field. Laura Evans led them. Lisa Thompson stood beside her. They talked fast and pointed at maps. The simulation area was large. Woods, hills, open grass, fake buildings made of wood and metal. Flags waited at each base. A whistle blew. Game on. Zorvak's team moved out first. They formed 2 lines. Front line crouched. Back line covered. They advanced toward the center hill. Every step matched. No sound except boots on dirt. Zorvak watched the enemy. The large human group split into 3 smaller groups. One went left through trees. One went right along a stream. One stayed back and dug. They used small shovels to make shallow holes. He signaled his team to hold position behind a low wall. Enemy splits forces, he said quietly. We push the center. Take the hill. They will collapse. His team nodded. They moved again. Smooth, silent. Then the first surprise came. From the trees on the left, smoke suddenly rose. Thick gray clouds rolled across the field. Zorvak's translator picked up cadet voices through the haze. Smoke out. Go, go, go. Humans appeared from the smoke, not in lines, not in order. They ran in zigzags. Some crawled, some rolled. They shot laser tags in every direction. Zorvak's front line took hits fast. Red lights flashed on their vests. Killed, the system announced. The cadets did not stop. The dead ones dropped dramatically. They lay on the ground with arms out. One yelled, "Tell my mom I love her." Another answered, She knows, bro. Zorvak stared. Why do they act like that? Kevin, still alive beside him, whispered, Morale, sir. Keeps it fun. More smoke came from the right. Another group charged. They carried branches with leaves tied on. They looked like walking bushes. Zorvak's team shot at them. Some hits, but the bushes kept coming. Then the real madness started. A small team of 5 humans ran straight at Zorvak's position. They held no weapons. Instead, they carried buckets. Water balloons flew through the air. Bright colors exploded on impact. Blue paint splattered Zorvak's gray uniform. Red paint hit Kevin's face. The system did not count water as a kill, but it blinded. It confused. Zorvak wiped paint from his eyes. This is not allowed. Kevin laughed. It's not against rules, just creative. The bucket team retreated, laughing, high-fiving. Zorvak ordered a counterpush. His remaining team advanced up the hill. They reached the top. The flag was close. Then he saw it. A line of cadets lay on the ground ahead, pretending to be dead, motionless. His team stepped over them carefully. The dead ones suddenly jumped up. They grabbed legs, they pulled, they tackled. No weapons, just hands and bodies. Zorvak's soldiers fell. Lights flashed. Killed. One cadet, Chris, wrestled a Krellian-trained human to the ground. Gotcha. Zorvak fired his tag gun, hit Chris square in the chest. Chris fell back with a dramatic spin. Arg, right in the feels. He lay still for 5 seconds. Respawn in 4 minutes. See you soon, Commander. Zorvak felt heat in his face. Not anger. Something close to panic. His team shrank fast. Perfect formation broke. Cadets started to improvise on their own. One climbed a tree to snipe. Another hid in a bush and waited. But the larger human force closed in from all sides. Smoke everywhere. Paint everywhere. Shouts, laughs, fake screams. Then the final blow. A group of cadets appeared behind Zorvak's last position. They carried a long rope. They had tied cafeteria trays to it like a net. They swung it low. It caught 3 of Zorvak's cadets at once. Lights flashed. Killed. The rope team cheered. Tremageddon. Zorvak stood alone now. His vest light blinked red. He had been hit from behind. He did not even see who. The field went quiet for a moment. Then the humans cheered. They lifted their flag high. They had captured his base while he fought here. Laura Evans ran up the hill. She held Zorvak's team flag. She waved it. Thunderstrike complete. Humans win. Cadets ran together. They jumped, they hugged, they slapped backs. Even the dead ones rose and joined. Drill Sergeant Hayes blew a whistle. Game over. Debrief in 10. Zorvak walked down the hill slowly. Paint dripped from his uniform. His 4 eyes blinked fast. John met him at the bottom. Good fight, Commander. You almost had the hill. Zorvak looked at him. Almost is not victory. Lisa joined them. But it was close. And fun. Fun. That word again. In the debrief room, Instructor Carter stood at the front. Let's talk. What worked? What failed? Zorvak's small team sat on one side. The large human group on the other. Cadets spoke first. The smoke confused them. The trays were awesome. Pretending to be dead worked great. Kevin added, Commander Zorvak's formation was perfect. But we didn't fight perfect. We fought human. Carter looked at Zorvak. Commander, your thoughts? Zorvak stood. His voice stayed calm. Your methods break every rule of warfare I know. No discipline, no order, yet you won. In 20 minutes. He paused. I do not understand how, but I saw it. You turn war into surprise, into joke, into game, and when the enemy expects order, you give chaos. The room went quiet. Then Chris raised his hand. Sir, want to know the best part? Zorvak nodded. Chris grinned. We had more fun losing our own guys than you had winning. Laughter filled the room. Zorvak sat down. He opened his datapad under the table. Observation 8. Humans do not fear death in simulation. They celebrate it. They use failure as fuel. Their unpredictability is a weapon stronger than any formation. Observation 9. In 20 minutes they destroyed Doctrine with water balloons, trays, and laughter. He closed the pad. After debrief, the cadets went to clean up. Zorvak stayed outside. He looked at the field. Paint spots. Smoke still lingered. Trampled grass. Kevin walked over. "Hey, Commander, no hard feelings?" Zorvak turned. "No, I learned." Kevin nodded. "Good. Tomorrow's live fire. Real bullets. No paint. You coming?" Zorvak looked at the sky. "Yes, I must see more." Kevin walked away. Zorvak stood alone. The sun went down. Shadows grew long. He thought of his fleet, his perfect ships, his silent orders. Then he thought of these cadets, covered in paint, laughing after defeat, cheering after victory. He whispered to himself, one word: terrifying. That night, in his room, the report grew longer. Day 3. They fight like mad artists. Every plan dies. Every rule bends. Yet they win. I begin to fear not their guns. I fear their minds. Minds that turn battle into theater. Minds that refuse to lose spirit. He saved the file. Outside, somewhere on the grounds, cadets still talked. Still laughed. Still planned tomorrow's chaos. Zorvak closed his eyes. Sleep brought strange dreams. Dreams of flags waving, of smoke, of humans who never stopped moving forward. Day 4 arrived with rain. Not light rain, heavy rain that turned the ground soft and slippery. Zorvak looked out his window at gray clouds and water pouring down. He wondered if training would stop. It did not. John knocked on the door early. "Commander, today is live fire. Real weapons, real bullets. Dress warm, it's wet out there." Zorvak put on his waterproof coat. He carried his datapad in a sealed case. He followed John to the armory building. Inside, cadets checked rifles. They loaded magazines. They talked in low voices. No songs today. No loud laughs. But their eyes still looked sharp. Drill Sergeant Ryan Hayes stood at the front of the room. "Listen close. This is not a game. Live rounds. Safety first. One mistake, someone dies. Understood?" "Yes, Sergeant," the cadets answered together. Hayes looked at Zorvak. "Commander, you observe only. No weapon for you. Clear?" "Clear," Zorvak said. They moved to the range. Long lanes with targets at different distances. Sandbags, metal plates, fake enemy figures made of wood and cloth. Rain hit everything. Water ran in small rivers down the dirt. First came zeroing. Cadets lay on mats. They aimed at targets 100 meters away. They fired single shots, adjusted sights, fired again. Zorvak watched Cadet Laura Evans. She breathed slow, squeezed the trigger. The rifle kicked. A small hole appeared in the center of the target. "Good group," Hayes said. "Next." Cadet Chris Ramirez went next. His first shot missed high. He laughed quietly. "Rain's messing with me." Hayes did not smile. "Fix it." Chris adjusted. Fired again. Better. Then he turned to Zorvak. "See, Commander? Even rain can't stop us." Zorvak wrote, Observation 10. Humans accept weather as part of training. No complaint changes the plan. After zeroing, they moved to moving targets. Small metal silhouettes pulled by cables. They moved left to right. Fast, slow, stop, go. Cadets fired from standing, from kneeling, from prone. Some missed. Bullets hit dirt. Sparks flew when rounds struck metal. One cadet, Nicole Davis, hit every target. She lowered her rifle, smiled. "That's how you do it." Another cadet bet her a candy bar he could beat her score. They laughed. Hayes let them. Make it quick. Zorvak watched. These were real weapons, real danger. Yet they bet snacks. They joked about misses. Then came the night march. Not at night yet, but they trained for it. They put on heavy packs, rifles on slings. They started walking a 5-mile loop through woods and hills. Rain made the path mud. Zorvak walked with them. His long legs kept pace easily, but the cadets moved steady. No one fell behind. Halfway, Hayes stopped them. Eat something. Hydrate. Cadets sat on wet logs. They pulled energy bars from pockets, shared water. One cadet offered Zorvak a bar. Try it, sir. Chocolate peanut. Good stuff. Zorvak took it, bit a small piece. Sweet, sticky, not bad. They talked while eating. Remember last live fire? Mike almost shot his own boot? Yeah, but he hit the target after. More laughs. Zorvak listened. They told stories of close calls, near misses, mistakes, but no fear in their voices, only lessons. Back on the march, the rain grew harder. Mud sucked at boots. One cadet slipped, fell flat. The group stopped. 2 others pulled him up. They checked him. No injury. He shook off mud, kept going. Lisa walked beside Zorvak. See? We fall, we get up. Together. Zorvak nodded slowly. The march ended at a small range in the woods. Targets hid among trees, some close, some far, some behind cover. Fire team movement. Advance by bounds. Cover each other, live rounds. Go. Cadets split into small groups. They moved forward. One group covered while another advanced. They shouted simple words. Bounding. Set. Moving. Gunfire cracked. Controlled bursts. Not wild, not random, but not silent like Krelian drills. Zorvak stayed back. He watched through binoculars. He saw precision. He saw mistakes. A cadet fired too long. Another forgot to reload fast, but they corrected. They helped. Then the surprise part came. Hayes called a halt. Now the fun part. Blindfolded shoot. Cadets looked at each other. Grins appeared. Wait, Zorvak said. Blindfolded, with live ammunition? Hayes nodded. Trust drill. Partner guides. Shooter aims by voice. Safe distance. Low risk. Zorvak's 4 eyes widened. This is insane. Hayes smiled. Human insane. They paired up. One put on a thick blindfold. The other stood behind. Gave directions. Left 2 degrees. Up a hair. Hold breath. Send it. The rifle fired. Bullets hit close to targets. Not perfect, but close. One pair missed badly. The blindfolded cadet laughed. I think you hate me. His partner laughed back. Nah, just bad at directions. Zorvak wrote fast. Observation 11. They push danger for trust. They laugh at near disaster. Mortality feels small to them. Later, as dark came, they did the real night exercise. Lights off, only small red lights on rifles. They moved through woods. Rain still fell. They found targets by shape and sound. Zorvak followed close. He saw shapes move, heard quiet orders, saw flashes, heard metal rings when hits landed. One moment stood out. A cadet, Kevin, heard a noise. He froze, raised his rifle, waited, then a deer ran across the path. Kevin lowered the weapon. Not today. The group laughed softly. Zorvak felt cold, not from rain, from realization. These humans lived close to death every day. They trained with real bullets, real risks, and they still found room for humor. Near the end, a small accident happened. A cadet slipped on mud. His rifle went off. The round went high into trees. No one hit. Everyone froze. Hayes checked fast. Clear? Clear. The cadet stood up, shook, then said, Oops, sorry guys. No anger, no punishment yell. Hayes walked over, put a hand on the cadet's shoulder. Mistake made, lesson learned. Check your footing next time. Now move on. The cadet nodded. Yes, Sergeant. They kept going. Zorvac stared. In Krellian forces, such a mistake meant review boards, reprimands, maybe removal. Here, a hand on the shoulder, a quiet word, and forward. When they returned to base wet and tired, the cadets cleaned weapons first. Every part oiled, every piece checked. Then they ate hot food in the mess hall. They talked about the day. They teased the one who slipped. He laughed hardest. Zorvac sat with them. He ate little. He listened. John asked, "What do you think of live fire, Commander?" Zorvac paused. "It is real, dangerous, yet you treat it lightly." Laura answered, "Not lightly, carefully. But we know fear kills faster than bullets sometimes, so we push it away with jokes." Zorvac looked at their faces. Tired, dirty, happy. He wrote one last note for the day. Observation 12. Humans dance with death and call it training. They accept risk as normal. They turn close calls into stories. Their control comes not from fear. It comes from choice. Choice to laugh. Choice to continue. That night, Zorvac sat in his room. Rain tapped the window. He opened his report. Day 4. Live fire showed truth. They used deadly tools with calm hands and smiling mouths. A misfire becomes a lesson, not a crime. Danger becomes routine. Routine becomes strength. He added more. I see now. Their academy does not make killers. It makes survivors. Survivors who refuse to let fear win. Survivors who mock the dark. He saved the file. Outside, the rain kept falling. Somewhere, cadets slept, ready for tomorrow. Zorvac lay down. His mind stayed awake longer, full of flashes, full of laughs in the rain, full of humans who walked through danger like it was just another day. The final day came too fast. Zorvac woke before the horn. He sat at the small desk in his room and looked at the datapad. Pages and pages of notes, observations, thoughts, questions without answers. Today, he would finish watching. Then he would leave Earth. Back to his fleet. Back to silence and order. He dressed slowly. Outside, the sky looked clear for the first time. No rain, no mud, just blue and sun. Cadets moved across the grounds in their usual way. Some ran, some marched, some laughed. John and Lisa waited as always, but today their faces looked different. A little sad, a little proud. Last day, Commander, John said. We have one more thing before you go. A small ceremony. Then you can write your report. Zorvac nodded. I am ready. They walked to the main quad. All the cadets gathered there, hundreds of them, in perfect lines, uniforms clean, boots shining. Drill Sergeant Hayes stood at the front, Instructor Megan Carter beside him. Even some officers Zorvac had not met before. Hayes stepped forward. His voice carried loud and clear. Attention! Every cadet snapped straight. Zorvac stood beside John and Lisa. He felt tall among them. Strange. Hayes continued. Today we say goodbye to Commander Zorvac of the Krellian fleet. He came here to watch us. He stayed 5 days. He saw our worst and our best. He saw mud. He saw paint. He saw bullets in the rain. And he never ran away. Quiet laughs moved through the lines. Hayes looked at Zorvac. Commander, step forward. Zorvac walked to the center, all eyes on him. Hayes held a small box. Inside was a simple pin, a small metal eagle with a shield. Human symbol. This is the West Point Challenge coin, Hayes said. Not everyone gets one. Only those who earn it. You earned it by watching, by learning, by not laughing at us when we looked crazy. He handed the coin to Zorvac. Keep it. Show your people. Tell them humans are not soft. Tell them we are different. And different can win. Zorvac took the coin. It felt heavy in his long fingers. He looked at the cadets. their faces serious now. No jokes, no smiles, just respect. He spoke slowly. His translator made the words clear. I came here to judge, to measure, to report weakness. I found none. I found strength in places I did not expect, in laughter during pain, in plans that should fail but win, in soldiers who fall and rise smiling. You do not fight like my people. You fight better, because you fight as yourselves. The cadets stayed silent. Then one started clapping, then more. Soon the whole quad filled with sound. Not cheers, not shouts, just steady clapping. Respect. Zorvak felt something in his chest, warm, strange. He lifted the coin high for a moment, then put it in his pocket. After the ceremony, the cadets broke formation. Many came to shake his hand, or pat his arm, or just say thank you. Kevin said, "Come back any time, Commander. Next time we let you win the sim." Laura added, "Or at least get more paint on you." Chris grinned, "We saved you some meatloaf for the road." Zorvak tried to smile. Krelians did not smile well, but he tried. Nicole gave him a small folded paper. "Our squad wrote this. Read it later." He took it, nodded. Then it was time. His shuttle waited on the pad, the same place he landed 5 days ago. John and Lisa walked him there. No more words at first, just steps. At the ramp, Zorvak stopped, turned. "You changed me," he said. "I do not know if that is good or bad, but it happened." Lisa answered, "Change is good, Commander. Means you learned something." John added, "And we learned too, that aliens can be okay, even tall gray ones." Zorvak looked at them both. "Thank you." He walked up the ramp. The door closed. The engines hummed. The shuttle rose. From the small window, he saw them. John and Lisa waving. The quad full of cadets, still standing, still watching. The shuttle climbed. Earth grew small. Then the stars appeared. Zorvak sat in the quiet seat, alone now. No mud, no noise, no laughter. He opened his datapad. The report file waited. Title still the same. He started to write. Not observations this time. The final summary. To Krelian High Command. From Commander Zorvak. Subject Final Report. Observation of Human War Academy, West Point. After 5 days of direct study, I conclude the following. Human training methods appear chaotic, inefficient, and illogical by Krelian standards. Cadets sing during punishment. They improvise with water balloons and trays in combat drills. They treat live fire exercises as routine, while joking about near-death moments. They debate tactics openly. They celebrate small wins loudly. These behaviors should weaken them. Instead, they strengthen them. Their strength does not come from perfect order. It comes from unbreakable spirit. From the ability to adapt in seconds. From the choice to find humor in danger. From the refusal to let fear control them. In simulation, they defeated my doctrine with absurdity. In live conditions, they handled real risk with calm hands and smiling faces. They turn war into something personal, something shared, something they refuse to hate. Recommendation: do not engage humanity in prolonged conflict. Their technology may match ours one day, their weapons may grow stronger, but their greatest weapon is already here. It lives in every cadet who falls in mud and stands up laughing. It lives in every soldier who faces death and makes a joke about it. Attack them and you will face not just armies. You will face a species that sees war as the ultimate challenge. A challenge they meet with joy. I have attached all observation logs. They speak for themselves. Personal note. I request transfer to a different sector. Prolonged exposure to human cadets has affected my judgment. It has also affected my view of superiority. I no longer believe we are clearly above them. They are different, and different wins. Zorvak closed the file, sent it. Then he opened the small folded paper from Nicole. Inside, Handwritten words from many cadets. Thanks for not giving up on us. You made us think harder. Come back when you want real fun. Stay weird, Commander. At the bottom, a small drawing, a stick figure alien with 4 eyes, covered in paint, smiling. Zorvac looked at it for a long time. Then slowly, he smiled. A real one. Small, strange, but real. He put the paper away, looked out at the stars. The shuttle flew on, toward home. But something in Zorvac had stayed behind. In the mud. In the rain. In the laughter. Something human. And he knew he would never be the same.